Avrohom Avinu, born into a world of Avodah Zarah. Everyone was worshipping idols, including his family, his father. He spent all his years searching for his creator. He innately knew that there must be a creator for this amazing universe he was living in. Chazal tell us how many years he spent in nature looking for that creator, looking for his master. He knew that since he had so much power within him, it must be that it was given to him to serve a purpose, to serve a master. And the more he looked around, the more it was clear to him that everyone else in the world, everyone in the world was saying was wrong. And there was a master and creator above it all. Something that everyone in the world disagreed with him. That something that the world wanted to throw him in a fire for believing. But that's exactly what he did. He believed until he found the creator, until he found his master, and he served him. And what happened next? Hashem, his creator and master, started testing him to the highest levels. If we think about the Asar Nisyonis, the tests that Avrohom Avinu had to go through, some people might think, well, this one seems tough, this one not so much, this one tougher, this one less. If you think about it in this concept, all they were higher and higher levels of removing any idea of being a master and becoming an ultimate servant. One of the biggest statuses a person can have is owning their home, having a hometown, having a home country. The first thing Hashem tells him to do, leave. Leave and go where I will tell you to go. You don't have a status, you don't have a country, you don't belong anywhere, you're a servant, and you will do as I say. And Avram does exactly that. The next thing, he arrives in Canaan. There's a famine, there is a hunger. A master would say, wait a second, this doesn't make sense, this is not logical. I did what I was told. Where's my reward? Why would there be a hunger here? That's not what a servant says. A servant accepts, and he accepts. And if you continue going through the Asar Nisyonis, he goes down to Egypt. What happens? His wife is taken away from him. His future seems lost. Can you imagine? Somebody that was told that he will be the forefather of Hashem's children, of Hashem's nation, that the holiest land will be his forever. And now his wife can be taken away by lowly, shallow people, idol worshippers. But he accepts. He continues and he tries to settle down, and then he has to fight with 5 kingdoms, something unimaginable. And how would he even decide to go fight that war, to go fight that battle? Would someone who is thinking as a master, who's thinking with a plan, who's thinking with ideas and logic and planning, would anyone ever have that idea and go out and fight that battle? He didn't think. His master told him, this is your next step. So he did just that. Everything in Avrohom Avinu's life was going up the levels and steps on a ladder of being the ultimate servant, of being a servant that has no will for himself. And this continued through his entire life. He knew with his name, Hashem tells him he's Av Hamoin Goyim. He's the father of nations. And the next test, he is told to marry a woman who is a slave. Can you imagine that? Can you imagine the humility? He's the king. He's Avrohom Avinu. He's the father. He is the new perfect human being. And this is what he should do. Doesn't blink an eye. He is in service of his master, and he will do his duty. He has a son, Yishmael, who is disconnected from his ways. Hashem tells him, at an old age, we're getting there. We're getting to the final tests. We're at a level where you're going to put yourself into physical pain by your own hand to show that not only have you given away your mind and your brain for your master, but even your body. Hashem tells him a bris, and to do so to his son. Again, he goes through the challenge of another king taking away his wife. And of course, it all ends up with the final test of Akedas Yitzchak. And this challenges everything. Because even as a servant, one might say, my master told me he will give me a child, and this child will have and build a nation, generations to come. And now my master is telling me, bring him up on the altar. Even if you're saying I don't have to think for myself, but my master is contradicting himself. That is the highest level of giving up every ounce of self-preservation as a master of your own mind. And Avrohom Avinu reaches a level of pure service. He woke up early that morning. He fought through every challenge and excuse he could have used to stop himself, and went on to do exactly what he was told to do, despite it being the exact opposite of what he was told by Hashem himself. Now that's a servant. That was the ultimate servant. That was the new human being that Hashem said, with this human being, this universe can continue, this world can survive, and we can possibly reach a level where we will repair the damage that was done and get the world to its ultimate purpose, with a servant who can take his master's word, despite yesterday having been told the opposite. That was Avrohom Avinu. And that's why he merited to not only bring the world back to a level where there is now a human being that can fulfill God's purpose, but was told that his children were Hashem's children. His children are the future and the hope and the reason why the world is here in the first place. Because of his service, because of his diminishing any level of trying even for 1 millisecond to be a master. In the last episode, we discussed the idea of, in today's world, where a person can try and use the question in any moment, in any time when a person feels that he has a doubt of what he should do, of how they should behave, a person can use the question, what can I as a servant and what must I as a servant do? Let's discuss another level in that idea? What if somebody really reaches deep down? They're in a question, they're in doubt, and they ask themselves with sincerity, as a servant, what should I do? And they don't find the answer. They try again and again, and they don't find the answer. Here's the beauty. As a servant, it's fine not to know the answer. As a servant, Avrohom Avinu taught us, it can be something that is the exact opposite of what I was told yesterday, and it's still fine. I can still do my part. I can still serve my master, the creator of the world, who created the world for exactly this purpose, that I today in this moment should serve him. This will be the last podcast for this week. Thank you for joining me on my first week in this journey. I hope that you have enjoyed this conversation, and I look forward to continuing this conversation with all of you in the coming weeks and months. Thank you.